Next, we head to Le Saint Laurent restaurant, and I catch up with executive chef Ryan, whose family and friends probably thought he was a little nuts taking over a restaurant during a pandemic, but he is so passionate about his craft, and also he has one of the best views in the entire city.
Gilles built this building in 2017, and it was actually in a location that Gilles, the owner of Desjardins, kind of always had his eye on and loved for this reason, as you can see. So yeah, it's a condo building, it's a rental building, and the restaurant's open to the public. You've got everything from the Gatineau Hills to the Peace Tower, and then all the way south of Ottawa, and it's never obstructed. It's just, yeah, I think to me the most beautiful view, beautiful place to have dinner in the city of Ottawa. So I'm a French technique chef, but much like Canada, it's a country of immigrants. So I do Canadian product and I cook global food. So we're every color, race, and sexuality that works here, and we just try to kind of bring everybody up and cook food from everybody's background that's made with Canadian products. Pandemic hit, so we closed in March like everybody else. Months and months went on, and June, July hit when we were allowed to open again at 50% capacity. The owners at the time were not really prepared at that time to reopen, so I just kind of came up with a proposal and said, what do you think if I take over? And they were insanely helpful, actually. The whole Desjardins family and Gilles and everybody else was like super supportive. Because I'd run it for a couple of years, they kind of knew what they were getting in me, so they did everything they could financially and otherwise to help me kind of, capture a dream, to be honest. For us taking over after the pandemic started, I was more or less in a situation where I just needed to get back to work, and there was no jobs in the hospitality industry. So created one for myself and my crew, really. And unfortunately, doing that, we didn't qualify for anything. So there was no government assistance whatsoever. If you didn't have a CRA number March 2020, forget about it. So that just changed, but I mean, now we're into like 7-8 months of me owning it. So we did just qualify for a little bit of help, and that has been very helpful, but we've kind of been on our own through 3 different shutdowns at this point, and that's been really difficult. And again, like, there was no help. It was just on us, accumulate debt, and hopefully dig ourselves out of it when the world turns around. Through all of this, the main thing too is just being empathetic for our fellow human beings, right? Nobody wants to see anybody get sick or die or any of that stuff. A meal at a restaurant certainly isn't worth that. The more it drags on, the more frustration builds, obviously, because you start to wonder, like, when am I going to lose my house or feed my kids, or, so it's empathy starts waning for sure over the last year. But I think we're kind of at this point hopefully seeing a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccines being released more and more each day, and now the news of a lockdown again a red zone on early next week. Who knows? But yeah, generally speaking, I mean, I just try to every single day wake up and just control what I can control, which is, this restaurant, the people that work here, and my family. So, I mean, the fact that we can only have 10, that's, it's not sustainable, right, for small businesses, for restaurants. And again, like I said, I don't want to see hospitals overrun or people sick. And if restaurants are where it's coming from, then close this down for sure. But, we're a year into this now, and I think we'd have a little bit more information as to what's happening, and maybe a little bit more insight for business owners, so that as restaurateurs, like, we are buying food today to prep it and get ready for the weekend. And then all of a sudden they're going to let us know on a Friday afternoon, oh, by the way, you're closed tomorrow, or you're closed Monday, so there's been a lot of losses that way too. There could have been a lot more help to help us mitigate losses instead of just dropping kind of bombs last minute, But I mean, everyone's kind of been working the same way with this, right? Rather blindly, and it's a new thing, and you got to roll with the punches. Still living the dream, right? It's still cooking every day with my friends and serving people food that we love to cook and drinks that we love to make, and yeah, still loving it. Well, I'm an East End guy, born and raised, so yeah, Orleans, Overbrook, the whole, yeah. So I'm happy to be here. I'm comfortable in this neighborhood, and I just, like you said, it's just an interesting mix of characters for sure. So we'll have people that come up from Brittany and people that come from Rockcliffe Park, and everybody kind of intermingles and dines together, and that's kind of the whole idea of this restaurant. It's about community, about supporting our community, about supporting the people, the food artisans in the community, the farmers, the butchers. I met you at Du Michel because that's where we spend our money on our meats. So yeah, that's important to me.